morning, ma'am. I am M. Shanmugavel, roll number 28, section B. Today, I am going to discuss about the chapter 1, the evolution of clinical psychology. I am going to discuss the topics that are introduction and the defining nature and the scope of clinical psychology. First, we can go to the introduction. Generally, first of all, we need to know about the mental health. Mental health is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential and can cope up with the normal stress of life. In this, we need to know the basic definition of the mental health. Next, we are going to know about the topic is clinical psychology. So we also need to know the definition of clinical psychology. Clinical psychology is the study of psychology. It's nothing but a study of psychology generally with the disorders and treatments designed to improve the day-to-day lives of the people suffering from stresses and different kinds of problem occurring in their working places, home, then etc. In many countries, clinical psychology is regulated as a mental health profession. Nowadays, the use of clinical psychology is more used in many places. What to say? Mental health professions now being have a good scope. Next, the field is generally considered to begin in 1896 with the opening of University in Pennsylvania by Leitner Whitmer. In the first of the 20th century, the clinical psychology was focused on the psychological assessment with little attention given to the treatment. In the starting stage of clinical psychology, it was done with a little assessment by assessing the patient and giving a little treatment known by them at the 20th century in the early period of clinical psychology. Later the treatment will be developed and nowadays the treatment will be elaborated and the patient will be cured by some more treatment like obsessive compulsive treatment like that, many of the psychological treatment. A national survey of the mental health and well-being of Canadians aged 15 years and older found that many people suffer from clinical depression. A survey taken by the WHO nationally, many of the people after age 15 years and more was found that was suffering from clinical depression and from common health conditions such as heart disease and diabetes. Next, the data from the World Health Organization illustrate the scope of the mental health problems. Already I said that data taken by the WHO explains about the disease that above age 15 and more than are suffering from many of the diseases. Now also the scope of mental health problem in different countries. Worldwide, hundreds and millions of people suffer from mental disorders due to work pressures, as I said. Nowadays, it's becoming more and more people are suffering from this. However, most mental disorders are overlooked and misdiagnosed. But in earlier days, they do not have a proper treatment method and they are not well trained like that. So most mental disorders are overlooked or misdiagnosed. And only a small percentage of those individuals who suffer from a mental disorder receive a proper treatment and they will be cured. At the early days, as I said, there is no proper treatment and assessment. So some people will not be cured. They will be not given a proper treatment like that. Even if they do receive treatment for other health concern, in most cases, regardless of the wealth or level of development of the country in which these people live, mental health problems are neglected. In olden days, they do not know more about clinical psychology and the mental problems. They do not consider the disease as an important one. They neglect the disease, health problem. They will consider the normal health problems, but they do not consider the psychological problems like that. They will neglect it. Next, worldwide stress from any source, from family, friends, school, college, offices, etc., is the main source of such health problems and disorder. clinical psychology came to an effective to treat such conditions to the people. Clinical psychology nowadays become the treatment to community and its people. Next, I'm going to explain about, that's all about the introduction. I'm going to explain about defining the nature and scope of clinical psychology. As I defined the clinical psychology, the definition of clinical psychology, I'm repeating it. Clinical psychology is the branch of psychology that focuses on developing assessment strategies and interventions to deal with these painful experience to touch everyone's life. That focuses on it's mainly focus on assessment and strategies to deal with the painful experience in everyone's life. It is inevitable that at many points in our life, each of us will be affected either directly or indirectly. Every people will have a point that will be affect them, like emotional distress or psychological distress, anything it may be, but they will have a problem. Clinical psychology is based on scientifically supported psychological theories and principles. Clinical psychology is scientifically supported with the psychological theories and principles. Clinical psychology is also called a science-based profession. It is a science-based profession. Furthermore, the development of the effective assessment and prevention. As I said earlier, there is no effective assessment and treatment. Some days it will be neglected, but furthermore, after development of effective assessment and prevention, surveys relies on the basic research into the nature of emotional distress and well-being. The Canadian Psychological Association's section on clinical psychology developed an excellent document that defines the current nature of the clinical psychology, provides general principles to future change in the field of practice and clinical psychology. The Canadian Psychological Association, they formed an association on clinical psychology and developed the assessment and the treatment and the prevention and the current nature of the clinical psychology. And they provided general principles and intended to apply to future challenges in the field and firmly grounds to the practice of clinical psychology. It was a group of people. Next, clinical psychology is a broad approach to human problems, both individual and interpersonal, consisting of assessment, diagnosis, consultation, treatment, program development, administration, and research. Clinical psychology has an approaches that it will diagnose, treat, and administrate, development, and research. Clinical psychology, the person who treat clinical problems like disorders and emotional distress are called clinical psychologists. They are mental health professions with highly specialized training in the diagnostic and psychological treatment of mental, behavior, and emotional illness, including obsessive compulsive disorder. They could treat mental problem, behavioral problem, and emotional illness caused by the surroundings, and they can also cure, also assess and treat obsessive compulsive disorder. Clinical psychologists have developed assessments that are helpful in understanding problems. They developed the assessments. The person with any problem, if they go to clinical psychologists, they develop an assessment that are helpful in understanding problems and interventions that are effective in preventing, treating, and eliminating a broad range of health problems and disorder. If a person had a problem, it was more complicated to keep within himself. If we go to a clinical psychologist, they will assess his problem and give a proper solution for treating and eliminating his problem and the disorder also. Clinical psychologists are expert in providing psychotherapy and generally trained within 4 primary theoretical orientations. 4 basic means psychodynamic, humanistic, cognitive behavioral, and other family therapies or systems of family therapy. Clinical psychologists can provide 4 types of treatment. They are psychodynamic, humanistic, cognitive behavioral, and family therapy. It could treat many of them. That's all about the introduction and nature and scope of clinical psychology. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi ma'am, myself Kumar Bindu Hariprasad from section B. I am here to explain about chapter 1 in a small directive method of a short topic. Is on evidence based on evidence based on psychology, in which first of all they have been described that clinical psychology can be effectively described in the form of scientific knowledge. In which this clinical psychology is be effectively described in the form of scientific knowledge is described in the form of 4 proponents types, in which 4 major things have been described as first one is group based data cannot be used in working with an individual crisis, in which only in an individual report no group based titles can be represented or being gathered information cannot be given to that. And second is that clients have problem now and we can afford to wait for the research. Yes, because the clients have been in which clinical psychology refers to that assessment and diagnosis of an problem faced by an individual, in which these problems cannot be given or being solved for a long time period. It should be solved in an instant time, in which we cannot take a form of a research type or something like that. And which third point defines that each unique constellation of a life experience, culture and societal concept makes it unlikely that general psychological principle can ever provide much useful guidance in elevating emotion distress. And fourth one displays that there is simply no research evidence on how to understand or treat many of the human problems confronted by clinical psychology, in which many individuals cannot be defined as okay, you have been undergone some psychological things like that, so you should be under this kind of stress or this kind of things, so you should practice these ways to reduce or overcome these kind of things. So everyone cannot be described or be manifested by those kinds, so it is easily recognizable about that. And some basic knowledge and information about the four proponents have been described in that, in which that idea of clinical psychology is a primary of a healing art, because a clinical psychology is a base thing for base things for example for a base things of a psychological explanation, in which it's a base part we cannot as by above I have been described as it gives an detailed assessment and perfect diagnosis things for that. So it is a primary healing art rather than a primary science based practice in extreme problematic. And over reliance on a clinical professional experience and general orientation to understand the human function can be because over orientation about a general because if an individual is affected by any psychological issues, if a general orientation is being given to that, it may not be satisfying to the problem and to the client's informations too. So clinical professional experience and general orientation to understand human function can be risky somewhat. And at another end of spectrum, there is a clinical psychologist for whom the current definition of clinical psychology do not go far enough in ensuring the science is at the heart of all clinical services offered to the public. As by describing that, Richard M.C. Fall, he is a presidential address to the Society for a Science of Clinical Psychology, and he done his this I have been told that president address to a Society for a Science of Clinical Psychology in his 1991, in the year of his 1991, in which he challenged that the field, he challenged the field to provide only psychological service. The research should be an effective way. He only challenged that psychological service may be an effective way in which all sectors, His main aim is to define that psychological service will be effective in all service manner. And according to MC Falls Manifest for Science of Clinical Psychology, his main clinical principle is based upon the clinical psychology is the only legitimate and acceptable form of clinical psychology. It may be the clinical psychology. It is the part which is more acceptable and more reasonable in the things of his principle. And he have been described about the two corollary. The first corollary have been described as the 4 criteria. In this criteria 1 is described as the abstract nature of the service must be described clearly. The criteria 2 is described as claimed benefits of the service must be stated explicitly without any of the further declination. And criteria 3, claimed benefits must be validated scientifically. It should be mentioned scientifically and will be evaluated and should be in the form of an scientifically manner, expressed in the form of scientifically manner. And criteria 4 is described as the possible negative side effects that might be outweighed any benefits must be ruled out empirically. According in which negative things can be ruled out in the form of empirical manner. In which we cannot seems like there will be only positive manner while evaluating an own personal or evaluating a client psychological issue. It can be a major form of a negative issue. It can be both as far of a negative issue also. And the second corollary is described as the primary and overriding objective of a doctoral programs in clinical psychology must be produced the most competent clinical scientists is possible, in which these 4 criteria should be an overriding objective for a doctoral program. These 4 should be followed, and as further it should be more developed. As further it should be more as far not for complicated things. It should be as far clearly. It should be must be produced to the most clinical scientists as possible. And about McFall's Manifest for Science of Clinical Psychology, and he describes as the role of science in clinical psychology that many clinical psychology engineers found is true esteem, in which many people have been found that a clinical psychology for explaining these data as in the form of clinical psychology has been for many of them it may be too risky, it seems. And there is no doubt that a vast majority of people who seek psychological service are in significant distress and hope to receive treatment that will reduce their distress and improve their overall functioning. And and another subtopic is based on this is the evidence-based practice. Evidence-based practice is not such an more described manner. It is described into 2 subcategories, in which first one it requires the clinicals to synthesize information drawn from a research and systematically collect the data on a patient in a question, the clinical professional experience and the patient preference when considering the healthcare option. In which the clinic first in for the client from the client there should be if a client is examined in the form of any psychological issue, he should be examined in the form of a psychological manner where he should undergo some research about the client information, in which he had any issues, any past issues via this psychological things. So there should be a proper information by collecting bias of this the client information regarding his psychological social issues. And second, emphasize that the importance of informing patient based on the best available research evidence about viable options for the assessment, prevention and interventional service. It is full and fully clearful, not a doubtful explanation. It is a more clearfully and a more elaborative way for a thing where in which the client can be easily known about these things, how it is done, or which are the steps that the client should undergo according to this. It will be easily clearly explainable about this too. Whereas the evidence-based practice, and the evidence model is now being integrated into many health and human service system, including mental and behavioral health. It is the main important things which can be said as overall in that year. It is described as the evidence-based model is now being more integrated into many health and human service system, because it is more helpful in practicing in all service such as healthcare, behavioral healthcare, social work, education, and criminal justice, etc. And and according to, we came to the conclusions. This is a short form of describing all these things in a form. And as by concluding this is this evidence-based psychology, clinical psychology, is based on. It's fascinating to note that a movement for evidence-based practice in a healthcare service placed demands on all health services. As per mentioned in the first thing, as per psychologists refer, clinical psychology can be easily more effectively described as a scientific manner. As by explaining all this scientific manner, it is described as this evidence-based practice healthcare is placed on all health services that are remarkably similar to those expressed by MC Falls first globally. As I mentioned the first article, he have been described as form of research in 1917. This place in all health services, and within 2 decades, a position was originally considered extreme because mainstream in many healthcare system and a goal exposed by several healthcare professions, because it has given many positive benefits according to this form of concept. And for an example, in the Canadian Psychiatric Association indicate that the single most compelling reason for practicing an evidence-based, in which as per I have been informing that evidence-based practice is also in the form of it may be came out with lot of positive outcomes also. It will be give somewhat negative outcomes, in which it cannot be described in form of these kinds or these kinds. As such, only one kind in the evidence, one kind it cannot be explained this form of not explained form. It will be a more doubtful form. We can be describing that it may be more doubtful in the form of an evidence-based manner was an ethical one, because in science form of ethical one, it may be different with each individual. We cannot say that every individual will be like this, because in some individual it will be from in the form of ethical one, it may be differ such from individual to individual. So this one is not most successful in the form of ethical one. Evidence-based psychology is not most successful in the form of ethical one. As by describing this, my presentation is all about this on evidence-based clinical psychology. Thank you.
Mental health profession. We will approach a mental health professionals when we have an emotional struggles or distress in our day-to-day life abilities, such as in schools, in colleges, and in working environment. A mental health professional usually completes a master degree and do services. They are usually healthcare professionals or human service workers. They will diagnose and give a specific diagnosis and treatment for the problems. Counseling psychology. Counseling is a generic term used to describe a range of mental health professions with training and license requirements. Counseling psychology is a psychological specialty which encompasses research and applied work in several broad domains. In counseling process and outcomes, supervisions and trainings, career development and counseling, and prevention and health. Counseling psychologists as a social and psychotherapeutic theory and research, they work to reduce psychological distress and to promote the well-being of an individuals and families. Distinction between clinical and counseling psychology. Clinical psychology. The focus of clinical psychology on assessment and treatment of psychopathology, that is, the manifestation of anxiety, depression, etc. Counseling psychologists usually and individuals who are dealing with normal challenges in life, such as the day-to-day challenges we are facing in our schools, colleges, and in working environment. Clinical psychologists most likely to be employed in general hospitals and in psychiatric facilities, whereas counseling psychologists are employed in educational institutions or general community clinics. For example, a clinical psychologist must specialize in areas such as substance abuse treatment, child mental health, adult mental health, etc. Examples of those in counseling psychologists are include adolescents or adults with career educational concerns. School psychology. School psychology is a field of study and professional practice focusing on educational and psychological needs of children. School psychologists are uniquely qualified members of school team who are able to teach and able to learn. They focuses on specific treatments for children with learning disabilities and mental disorders and in cognitive and behavioral terms of treatments. They can able to diagnose and teach students. In United States, school psychologists are employed in diverse organizations such as schools, clinics, and hospitals, and in private practices. In Canada, most school psychologists are employed on school boards. Psychiatry. Physicians are usually the first healthcare professionals consulted for health conditions. Psychiatrists are physicians who are specialized in diagnosing and treating and giving a specific prevention of mental illness. Psychiatrists requires 5 years of residential training after completion of their basic medical training. Once they have completed their specialization in psychiatry, psychiatrists rarely examine or treat a mental health problems that were covered with their medical training. Most psychiatrists focus on prescribing the appropriate medication that's going to work for best individuals. Psychiatrists are qualified to determine mental disorders and a result of mental health problems. Historically, psychiatrists were trained in forms of psychoanalytic and psychodynamic treatments such as those developed by Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, and Alfred Adler. Aaron Beck was a primary developer of cognitive therapy for depression. Gerald Weissman was the primary developer of interpersonal treatment of depression, and Isaac Marks has played a prominent role in development of cognitive behavioral treatment for anxiety disorders. Several surveys of medical students have found that psychiatry is considered less professional satisfying for other medical specialties. For example, found that internal medicines, pediatrics, and surgeries. Clinical social work. A clinical social work will complete a master's degree in social work and carry a licensed counselor of social work. Most programs require professionals to go thousands of hours of direct clinical experience and programs focusing on teaching principles of psychotherapy and social work. Clinical social work is a special practice area of social work which focuses on assessment, diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of mental illness, emotional and other mental behavioral disturbance. Individual, group, and family therapy were also included. The main difference between clinical and direct social work is clinical social workers offer many of the same counseling or support service, such as clinical psychologists. The social workers provide social service work to clients, such as by giving a welfare programs, by organizing a food and benefits, etc. While psychologists provide mental health services by giving a specific therapy. Type of clinical social workers. This includes child and family social workers, child welfare social workers, criminal justice social workers, pediatric social workers, etc. Next, we are going to see other mental health care professions. This includes psychiatric nurses. A psychiatric nurse was first trained as a regular nurse RN. After completing this degree, they have specialized training in psychiatry and some forms of psychotherapy. Typically include 500 hours of clinical rotations. Whereas in some states, psychiatric nurses can also give up prescription privileges. That is, they can prescribe a medicine as a psychiatrist can do. Psychiatric nurses are normal frontliners who do their service after training and consultations. The practitioners of this specialty typically receive their training as a part of 2 or 3 year diploma program or as a bachelorate degree. In addition to regular training in general nursing, psychiatric nurses receive nursing in management and treatment of mental disorders, etc. Child and youth care workers usually have their 2 years college training in child development and behavioral program. In attempt to meet the demand of child mental health care, while minimizing the cost of service, outpatient service are often provided by mental health practitioners. In most cases, these counselors have a college diploma or certificate-based structured training programs focused on assessment and treatment of specific diseases, traumas or problems.
Welcome ma'am. I am here to present my topic on the chapter 1 on the subject clinical psychology. So let us move on to the topic. The first topic is the availability of mental health services providers. There is wide variability in access to major mental health profession in different countries. So, for different countries, our World Health Organization has to provide that there are fewer than one psychiatrist, psychologist, and social workers for every 1 lakh people. So, thus, in the half of the world, there is only availability of one professionals for every 10,000 people, and they have also provided a table by that. So this table shows that the availability of psychologists and psychiatrists based on the ratio in each country. So the countries are Canada, United States, United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, France and Germany. So as you can see that what are the ratios and difference and the amount of psychologists and psychiatrists are there in each country. So as we can see, in United Kingdom has about the same proportion of psychiatrists and psychologists, whereas Australia and France has substantially somewhat more psychiatrists than psychologists. Alright, so there will be some problems in if this ratio are different. So what are those problems? Although the number of professionals providing mental health service in a country provides some indication of adequacy of the healthcare system, it can mask religious disparities that affect the population. So this is the problem if there is some major difference in the availability of psychologists and psychiatrists in a specific country. For example, in Canada, the ratio of a psychologist to a psychiatrist is approximately 3 to 1. And in rural areas, it is more, that is 15 to 1 ratio only. So, a brief history of clinical psychology. So, the clinical psychology was began at the year 1896 by Leitner Whitmer in Pennsylvania. While considering the history of clinical psychology, it is useful to think in the terms of interwoven thread that include. The first one is the history of assessment and intervention within the clinical psychology. The second one is the history of clinical psychology become profession. The third one is the history of treatment of mental illness. Fourth one, the history of prevention, and the last, the history of psychology itself. We should consider this everything while considering the history of clinical psychology. So the third topic is the root of clinical psychology. So the history of psychopathology and its treatment describe early proponents of view that mental disturbance were caused by natural cause rather than demonic possession, because at that year and all people are more believable in the demonic possession than the science. So at the time, Hippocrates, who is the father of medicine, emphasized what is known as the biopsychosocial approach to understand both physical and psychological disorder. So what is biopsychosocial approach? Biopsychosocial approach is a theoretical framework that takes into account biological, psychological and social influence on health and illness of a person. In the late 50s, Vincent de Paul proposed that mental and physical illness were caused by the natural forces. So this also proves that there is no such demonic possession, rather than there is a physical or natural forces for the physical or mental illness. That the extreme manifestation of mental disturbance such as psychotic behavior were not caused by witchcraft or psychotic possession. So those suffering from severe mental illness were isolated in asylums, where treatment include calming extreme behavior using bleeding with knives or leeches. People do this to the mentally ill people because this was believed that this is used to reduce the excitation due to the excess of blood. So this kind of inhuman treatment were done to the mentally illness people in the asylum. That is by making them bleeded by knives or leeches. So during the period of enlightenment in Europe and North America that began in the later half of the 70s, a new worldview emerged in which problem could be analyzed, understood and solved. So in this 70s only people and some people were somewhat aware about the biological causes of the mentally ill person. So reformer Philippe Pinel, the director of the major asylum in Paris in the late 70s, ordered that the chain should be removed from all mental patients and that patients should be treated by humanity. So he proposed that no mentally or physically ill human should be tortured or chained with something in the asylum. They should also be respected as the human. About this time, within European medicine, that specialty of neurology was growing rapidly. The increased attention to mental disorder led to the recognition that a number of conditions such as hysteria could not easily be accounted for the purely biological explanation. So this hysteria was somewhat understandable by the biological point of view at that time. Thank you.
I'm Rajaram Ganeshan Suraj Kumar, roll number 39. In this video, I am going to present my case on Introduction to Clinical Psychology. In this video, we are going to cover three main important topics in Introduction to Clinical Psychology. We are going to see about the history of assessment in clinical psychology and history of interventions in clinical psychology and our history of prevention in clinical psychology. Talking about history is a part that is being given by the proponents in the clinical psychology for the development of the field. When we are talking about the development, it is the contribution or the results of the proponents' work that led to the increase in the practice of clinical psychology. So in this topic, we are going to see about the proponents in clinical psychology and what work they did and how it improved their development in clinical psychology. Clinical psychology. It is actually a subfield of psychology which focuses mainly on diagnosing and treating of mental disorders and illness. So when we see the diagnosis and treatment, it is a main part of clinical psychology. So followed by this, our first content of the video will be talking about the history of assessment in clinical psychology. In this following up, we will be seeing some proponents and their work and how it improved the development of clinical psychological assessment today. Is one among the earliest psychologists who studied the individual difference among the people. Key assessments on intellectual of a people were based on the difference between the motor skills and the reaction time among the people. Wilhelm is a father of psychology. He was advocating psychology as a human experience. His idea on psychology were simply based on the sensation and perception of human beings. He worked with Wundt, and his methods were primarily focused on the scientific attention between the combination of reaction time and intelligence. He coined the term the mental test and added every test and task and methods he used to evaluate the cognition function of people. Emil Krepin is a clinical psychologist who had a different perception about the mental disorders when it comes to other psychologists. So he thought and he saw the mental disorders as the underlying cause due to the biological factors. And he also saw that person or any member or any human suffering from a mental disorder shows underlying symptoms. He saw persons suffering from a mental disorders exhibit a varieties of symptoms. And he corrected these all symptoms and coined the term as syndrome. Syndrome, the word means it is a collection of symptoms from which a person is suffering from an illness. So he collected these symptoms and formed a classification, and he thought that, and he believed that another person who exhibits these same symptoms may have the same mental disorder the person before had. And these classifications and all these methods were kept under record. And American Psychological Association are following his methods of classification as a. During the 20th century, the French government wanted the children to maximize their potential to learn and develop by proper education. But there are children with learning disabilities and a low intelligence level. And providing a proper education to those children was a challenge. Most importantly, identifying the children with a low intelligence level was more challenging. Here, Brainerd and his colleagues had developed a strategy to measure the mental skills and intelligence scales of the children. They have collected a wide range of children's test scores and formed it as a standardized norm. And the first intelligence test was formed by the Binet. When a child is attending the test scores are collected and they were compared to the norms of these children with the same age. Then the children's level of intelligence is identified and a proper education is given to the children during that time. The role of psychological assessment in selecting the new members into the armed force. During the World War I, a lot of thousands of applicants were applied for the post in the army, but the nation could only select a few best men. So the doctors and physicians were employed to check the physical conditions of the members, while the psychological assessment played an important role because they used it in order to recruit and apply and give a post for them into the army. The person who could read were placed into the Alpha Army, and the person who couldn't read were placed into the Beta Army. After the World Wars, psychological role and assessment also played an important role in treating and diagnosing the post-traumatic stress disorder. In spite of having all these intelligent tests and the gold standards, there is still a lack for the psychologists in assessment. And this something is the personality of an individual. By knowing the intelligence of a person, we can determine how well he can perform a task. But by only knowing the personality of a person, we can know why he is doing the task and why he is doing the projective test. It's a method of test used to evaluate the personality of a person. In this test, it is clear that a person's interaction is based upon the personality. So, the behavior of a person is either in case of mental disorder is due to the personality of a person. And the projective tests are of various kinds, and Rogers in-log test is one of the projective tests used from advantage of clinical and psychological assessment. Clinical utility. Having an assessment data of a person actually provides information about the patient. So gathering this information, we can do a future guessing about the outcome and situations of the mental disorder. So we can plan further and then effectiveness of a treatment in advance. And second one is the service evaluation. Every clinical psychologist have a pressure to prove their methods are effective. So they do a documentation of their methods. They document their assessment techniques and the outcome of treatment. The documentation is purely done in order to show that the treatments are effective in curing the mental disorders. The second content of the video, we are going to see about the history of interventions in the clinical psychology. So when we are talking about the interventions, the types and methods used by the psychologists are the psychodynamic method, the humanistic method, existential method, and experiential traditional method. Charcot and Janet. They were the earliest psychologists in the 1800s to use intervention in the field of clinical psychology. They used the talking therapy or the psychotherapy, which is they call as a talking method to cure the mental disorder rather than using physical. Sigmund Freud is a celebrated clinical psychologist. He used psychotherapy as an intervention method in clinical psychology. And the interpretation of the dreams by the Sigmund Freud have attracted both the supporters and the detractors. His theory is called as a psychodynamic theory, according to which the behaviors are propelled by the thoughts and feelings that is underlined into the subconscious mind. Anna Freud. She is the daughter of Sigmund Freud and she is the one who proposed the ego psychology, according to which she emphasizes that the unconscious forces, but also states that the role of conscious forces and how we can use to change the past and improve the current situations. Carl Jung. His method is also based on Sigmund Freud's method. It's about unconscious thoughts. But also in this method, he gives importance to a positive reinforcement called as the collective unconsciousness. He states that not only a person is affected by a personal unconsciousness, but also he is affected by the societal collective unconsciousness. So therefore, by improving the collective unconscious along with the personal unconsciousness, one can improve the mental condition and underlying psychological conditions. Alfred Adler. He is one of the followers of Sigmund Freud, but his methods and his theories were focused on the society and socialization pressure. According to him, the personality of a person is shaped based upon the society and the environment. When the socializing pressure is increased, it may lead to a disorder or a mental illness. Other theories of Alfred Adler is the birth order. A personality of an individual, we can understand the personality of an individual and upcoming disorders when we understand the birth order of a person thoroughly. Carl Rogers wrote a lot of books on counseling and psychotherapy. According to him, each and every individual is inherently has a capability of developing into a positive and a good manner. Only thing we have to provide is a supportive environment for them to flourish. And he also states that in his theories, a mentally disordered person should be treated in a humanely way because the treatment or humanly way treated person has shown a significantly lot of improvements compared to when they are treated in a non. This approach is termed as a third force in psychotherapy, followed by the psychodynamic and behavioral. This intervention is an exception when we compare to other psychological intervention in clinical psychology. According to his opinion, he stated that the person who received the psychodynamic therapy has the same effect when compared to the person who did not receive any form of therapy. So the results are absolutely the same. And his opinion had led to two major impacts from him. First one, it created a dissatisfied among the clinical psychologists who use psychodynamic therapy as a treatment. And also, it creates a new perception for us to use new and as well as a traditional way to treat the illness. History of prevention in clinical psychology. Though the field clinical psychology mostly focus on the intervention and assessment methods, it has only a few techniques or few advice in the prevention list. And always, prevention is better than cure. So it lists out few elements that could prevent the future or the many psychological disabilities in the future. According to which, first one is a smoking, second is a safe intercourse, and educating adolescents and young adults about the depression in the United States, and fourth is an interpersonal violence. By using these prevention methods, we can prevent these type of major illness or mental disorders that occurs with the future generations. So thank you. This is the end of